Hi, and welcome to Anmaree's Workshop. My name is Anne Marie, and I love to make things with joy. If you like to make things with joy, you have found the right place. Please like, subscribe, and share. Hi, and welcome to Anmaree's Workshop. My name is Anne Marie, and I love to make things with joy. If you like to make things with joy, you have found the right place. Please like, subscribe, and share. All right, this is one of my Saturday sews, and it is because of the challenge, hashtag finish that whip 2024. That work in progress that's been hanging around your workshop, closet, under the bed, in the next room that you haven't finished. So I am accepting the challenge, and this is my contribution to the challenge set forth by, let me get this right, at One Lisa Show. Let me take a few minutes to tell you what this challenge is all about. Take a work in progress, which is a whip, finish it during the month of October. Post your finished whip on Instagram on October 30th using the hashtag Finish That Whip 2024 and cite or tag our girl. Ooh, my timer went off, so I don't know if you caught that. So you're going to post your garment, crochet, sweater, clay, jewelry, whatever thing that's been hanging around that you have not finished. You're going to post it to Instagram on October 30th using hashtag Finish That Whip 2024. I hope that's coming up right here. You're also going to tag our girl at One Lisa Show. I hope that's right here too, to let her know that you saw her challenge. All right, there's some cool prizes, and it's a win-win. You finish something that's been hanging around for a while, you're eligible for a random drawing for prizes, and everybody else gets inspired by the stuff that you decided to finish. Well, this challenge came along perfectly for me because I decided to dedicate the month of November and December to finishing these two buckets of whips that I have underneath this table. I'll show you them over here. But I'm going to get my feet wet. I'm going to get started because I'm in the middle of my month where I'm doing my costumes, and I just finished some, what do they call them? Well, it's a toile, and but you can actually wear them if they work out. And they kind of worked out. So before I took that big one on, I thought, let me go ahead and dip my feet into this WIP challenge and see what I have that I really want to get a little move on. Yeah, living toile, that's what it was called. Anyway, everybody knows that I love to quilt, and I also like to get my Christmas done early so I have more time to eat cookies, visit, play games, wrap presents, have people over, all that kind of stuff, dance, party, all that kind of stuff. So I started this major scrap quilt built from other quilts I have made. So I have a video about how to make fabric from old quilts, or from the leftover scraps that you have left from, or leftover blocks that you have left when you finish a quilt, and I will cite that over here somewhere, and it'll be in the description box. But it results in you making your own fabric, and then sometimes you can take an old quilt that's unraveling, is dying, and you can use it as your batting. So that's what I did in this case. So all of these are ghosts of quilts past. Well, this was a beautiful quilt, and it went to Christina on her wedding. Let's see what else is on here. Quilts from, this is a K-facet quilt that I made a lifetime ago in Pennsylvania, and one was auctioned off for charity. I don't know what happened to the other one. I made two of them. All right. Do I have one? I have one, y'all. No, that's a log cabin a long time ago. Anyway, there are various quilts. Oh, this is from my son's Nap Man 5-year-old when he turned 5 quilt. You see what I'm saying? So these are leftover quilt pieces that I turned into fabric and then backed an old quilt And I have been little by little using my free motion arm on my machine. Let me show you what that looks like. It's one of these. If your machine doesn't come with one, it has been the best investment. I have used it to not only free arm motion quilting, I've used it to attach rickrack. It's excellent for that. I think I have a short on that somewhere around here. So I'm gonna attach that to my machine. Now, when I made my initial fabric, it was king sized, and it was really hard to handle underneath my arm of my machine. So our apartment that's attached to this house is my daughter's apartment, and there are 2 twin beds in there. And I thought, I am going to measure the length of the 2 twins and see if I can cut this initial work that I came up with, if I can cut it in half. If I can cut it in half, it'll be easier to handle underneath the arm of my machine. And if you can see, there are lots of it that are not, I just kind of gave up. They're not stitched. Unlike this is stitched. This has not been stitched. But it'll be much easier to manage when I cut it in half, the length. So I'm gonna end up with 2 quilt tops. And what my goal is to make 2 old-time bedspreads to go on each bed in the apartment. Now, what that's gonna involve is I'm going to have to finish the free motion quilted on the top, so the top is all quilted. And then I am going to add, and I bought some material to do that, kind of funky material. I bought some material to make the distance from the top of the bed to the bottom. So it's like a bed skirt. It's like an old time bedspread where you just put it on the top and then this is gathered around the side. The only thing I'm going to embellish it with is I'm going to cover some cord and make some piping. I'm going to cover it with I don't know what fabric yet. You're along for the ride. You're going to see what fabric. And I'm going to use that to go around the top, and then I'm going to gather or pleat around the edge. And I'll have 2 bedspreads, and then we'll talk about pillows and stuff later. But this is the whip that I'm working on. All right, so I have finished 1/2 of my of one of my twin quilts. I have done the top stitching, and so now I'm ready to move on to the second one before we make them into bedspreads. Bedspreads? Bedspreads. Say that 5 times fast. Okay, so thank you. Finish that whip because I have done all the quilting on my half-made quilt, and so now it's time to cover the piping to go around the edge because this is going to be a bedspread rather than a quilt. I have 2 twin beds in the apartment attached to the house, and I would like to cover them with these bedspreads. Also, I'd like to make some bolsters, and there's other things to do. So this is my upholstery cord. I'm gonna have to check and see if I have enough left over to go all the way around the edge of 3 sides, 2 long sides and 1 short side of the quilt bedspread. And then I'm gonna have to find something to cover it with. Preferably something cut cotton. I'm gonna look through my bias tape collection because I've done a lot of bias tape activities, and so I might have some already made. Okay, so I rooted around in my stash over here and I found this chocolate brown, which I think will do very nice for the piping. But I'm gonna have to make a trip to Zan's, which is in Mandeville, downtown Mandeville, upholstery store, because I need more of this to go around the second, and I like to finish both of them. And I also had an idea of putting a layer of piping around the end of a bolster. So I need a little bit more of this. Okay, so we're back again. I had to renegotiate. I had to get this piping, which is a little thinner, but I think it's going to be fine because I think it's a poplin that I'm going to use to cover it. The other, of course I misplaced it. No, I didn't. It was right beside me. I liked this because it was so thick, but what needs must, because this is the widest they had at the upholstery store in Mandeville, Zan's. So I'm going to work with this. So I'm going to cut some bias binding strips. If you want a great tutorial on how to make bias binding, check on Mariso's Curves channel. She does a great one. I'll put a link in the box. And also, I believe, does Marcy Harrell make one? I will research it for you and I'll put it in the description box. But it's time to cut some bias tape. Yardage is 120 inches and I bought 6 yards of it. So I measured the distance between the bedspread and the ground, and it's 22.5 inches. I'm going to add 2 inches to that for the hem, making it 24.5 inches, and another inch for my pleating at the top, so it'll be 25.5 inches. And I can adjust accordingly, but I've got to manage this 120 inch wide fabric. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so I have added the skirt to my bedspread. There are 2 twin beds, but I finished the first one. Let's walk over to the apartment, see how it looks, and then I'll work on the second one later today. Okay, so I finished half of the whip and I hope you enjoyed it. I think it came out very, very nice. And I'm gonna do the other half for the other side of the room so that it'll be 2 match bedspreads. I'm gonna make a bolster to go under her pillows, and I have enough fabric left to make a pillowcase. So I hope you're getting a chance to work on your WIPs, Works in Progress 2024, that you finally get finished. It is worth it to push through so you can get to see your final results. All right. Also, make sure you hit up my girl. The details are below, and thank you for sponsoring this challenge. But wait, please come back and I will show you how I'm going to take an old pillow that's seen on its last leg, and I'm going to turn it into one of those fancy looking bed bolsters that you can put on your bed head to help support your pillows and your backs. And also a shout out to One Lisa Show at One Lisa Show for inspiring me to start working on my WIPs early. I was going to devote November and December to going through my buckets of things that are cut out but have not been made yet. But this has inspired me that it's worth it. I'm going to do that for the last 2 months of the year as a year-end clear out. So we'll see you soon. You take care.